Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can discover and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading. We are doing a 3x2 today with the beautiful Blink of an Eye deck. Let's go ahead and start with you, Aries. Let's deal out your 3x2 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your 3x2. It has a few challenging cards, but also a lovely positive cards, which is the Star. We have the Fox, Clouds, and Cross. This is a bit challenging, but the Star is an all-around healing card. The Book and Star can suggest a few things. It can mean that there is a revelation or something unexpected that comes through, and it is very much aligned with your goals, and it suggests wish fulfillment. There's very good news and a happy thing materializing. The book is also the card of knowledge and learning, and by extension, it could be related to creativity. So this could be a good time to learn something, to expand on your knowledge, or to engage in a passion of yours. Now, the Fox and Cross can be a bit challenging. It can point to someone challenging that you're dealing with, typically someone who's a bit selfish. But the Fox can also be clever and ask you to be strategic. And with the Cross, it can ask you to prioritize your goals. You might need to sacrifice some things and in order to focus on the more important ones. That is possible. Now, the Book and Tree is very much a combination for learning and growing in depth and knowledge, and the Cross has to do with something that is important to you. It can also mean that you have to at this point. So take this as a sign, Aries, that you are on the right track if you are looking to grow and develop. Do your work, do your homework, and go beyond the surface. So go for things that have a bit more depth as well. The line here can be a bit spiritual as well. There can be an element of depth and deeper matters that you are working through. So this could be quite interesting. Now, the Fox and Clouds suggests some challenges. You could be having issues with your job because the Fox is a card of work, or you could be dealing with this somewhat difficult person, or dealing through some issues in yourself. Now, the Star is a healing card, so whatever the doubts here or the confusion, you're able to see through. Now, I do see a parallel with the Book. It sounds like there is a situation that is not really clear or transparent to you, and you're looking to understand it better and to go beneath the surface, and it sounds like you really are able to do this week. The Book and Fox is very much about learning and studying. It is a disciplined combination when it comes to acquiring knowledge, polishing yourself, or getting into the details. So do that, Aries. It's a good time to do it. And also there can be, for example, when it comes to a person, like that person we're seeing is not too easy to deal with. It could be someone who is secretive and not very transparent, or the situation itself requires digging. Now, the Tree and Clouds is very much a combination of contemplation and thinking about things. It sounds like you need perspective, Aries, this week. You need to take some time out to assess things, to evaluate things, to look at the issue, to think about this person. And the Cross and Star suggest that you're going to come out with some deep insights and a lot of understanding. And also the issue is resolved and you're able to move past it. So these are some very interesting cards, Aries. They do have a lot of depth, and the situation is beyond the day-to-day thing. Of course, it can be, but your role in this has to be a bit deeper. The Book with the Clouds and Cross is very much about assessing the situation and thinking about what the problem is. And the Fox, Tree, and Star suggest that if you're patient and you're smart and clever about this, you're going to come out with a solution. So the situation takes thinking and consideration, some contemplation, and some perspective. So you want to step back, Aries, and do your work about this. And also, if it comes to people and places or situations, like external situations and people that are difficult to deal with, the way is definitely through patience and calm and strategy and diplomacy. This is definitely what's going to win you through. Now, the cards are flexible in terms of context. It can be about the job because of the Fox. And if that's the case, there could be a situation on the job or at work or in your work life that is the way we describe. Again, patience is key, and that element of strategy is key. In terms of a relationship, like we saw, the same idea applies. And other areas, the same dynamic applies as well. So let me know what you make of this, Aries. These are some very interesting cards. I wonder if they have more depth to you, like beyond the day-to-day, if you're willing to share. As always, I look forward to your perspective. So very best of luck with the week. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your 3x2. This is an interesting layout, an interesting set of cards. You could be considering or contemplating a certain direction or considering certain changes. We do have the dog in the cards, which can represent a person, and we have the clouds and fox, which are a little bit challenging. Now, the clouds with the dog can mean that there is someone who's giving you a bit of a headache. It could be anyone in any context. We don't have a lot of guidance in this regard from the cards. The fox can be a card of job, so maybe it's a colleague or a customer or someone like that, but it's still flexible. So there's a person in focus for you. Now, the fox and tree is a clear message, Taurus, that you want to chill and relax about this and also be strategic and smart. So I wouldn't deal with this in any straightforward or aggressive way. Just let it sit, allow it to sit. And things are going to unfold positively. The clouds with the road and tree, you could be contemplating your direction. The clouds and tree certainly ask for patience and to think things through. So with the road in the middle, you do not have full clarity, Taurus, about how to move forward. So I would give it a bit more time. And if this is about physical travel, like going places, it's either you slow down or you put it on hold just a little bit in order to consider the options and probably the involvement of other people. Now, the fox with the rider and dog suggests progress with this person. The rider is a generally positive card. The fox is obviously a bit tricky and it can point to deceptive types and selfish types, but it's not very dramatic. And so the idea here is really to move forward with strategy and caution and also some, like in a smart way with this person. The clouds and fox is really adding to the issues here. There can be some difficulties with this person or with the situation. Again, the idea is really to think through things, and being strategic is really key. The road and rider are very much about movement and progress, and you're probably going to take some steps forward, but I also want to caution Taurus against moving too quickly. The tree is a slower card, and with the dog, it's definitely taking your time with this person and getting to know them or allowing the relationship to sort of unfold. The fox with the road and dog is similar. It's like the bottom row. The road and rider are essentially interchangeable in here. And the clouds with the rider and tree is also good for progress. It is a bit like you move past the issues or the stuckness or the confusion and you're able to make some progress. But it's definitely a slower energy overall, Taurus. So you want to take it easy and slow down and let this relationship unfold on its own time. The cards, like I said, are flexible if this is about work or a personal relationship or some other area of your life. The same idea applies. They need to be strategic and careful and still moving forward, but with caution and with a strategy in mind. So a bit of a slower kind of energy. Let me know how this plays out for you, Taurus, who this person is and what is going on here for you specifically. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your weekly reading. We are doing a 3x2 today with the Blink of an Eye deck. Let's go ahead and deal out your cards and see what is in store for you. Okay, Gemini, here is your 3x2. We have the beautiful star in the cards, and the rest of the cards are pretty neutral or positive. We have a person in the cards. We have the dog and woman, which can represent a friend, a colleague, or really anyone else in your life. And so there is a relationship in focus. And we have the child and ship, which points to a new journey, a new direction. So there can be some exciting ventures this week where you're moving ahead with a project or moving ahead in a relationship. The dog with the tree and ship is also lovely. It points to a path that looks to be peaceful. There's like an unfolding here that seems to be fruitful, that's going to result in some positive outcomes. And it is with this person. So the relationship could be going, or perhaps you're collaborating with this person and it's moving forward in this direction. The child with the star and woman suggests a new relationship or a new phase in a relationship, and things are aligned and they fall into place because the star is an all-around wish fulfillment card. So this is a wonderful new beginning, and it seems to affect or involve this woman. Same with the dog and child, where there's a new relationship, and the tree and star is a beautiful wish materializing and things unfolding in a very desired and beautiful way. I have to say these are also great cards for healing and feeling good and well-being. And the ship and woman can mean that this woman travels, or perhaps there are some ventures that you move ahead with this woman. The child with the tree and woman is this seed that grows into something lovely. So again, this relationship looks to be really supportive, Gemini, and the dog, star, and ship is certainly a direction materializing with this person or with the help of this person. So these are lovely cards, Gemini. They suggest a new direction, a happy development, and a supportive relationship. And the cards are quite flexible, Gemini. They can apply in any context, really, and this person can be anyone. So if this is work, you could get a new job, a new project, or a new collaboration. If this is a personal relationship, it looks to be a promising friendship. And with family, there's also good times and positive developments in any context. You could also be getting the help of someone, to move ahead with your projects. And if you're traveling, then it could be a good time for this as well. So some pretty flexible cards that focus on a new beginning and a person, and also a desired direction materializing. Let me know how these played out for you, Gemini. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw this 3x2 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your 3x2. It's looking a little bit challenging, but if not challenging, it does suggest that you walk away from something. We have the snake and coffin, which clearly points to an ending. And the snake can be challenging. It can be a card of deception. It sounds like you could be disappointed from something, or you could be avoiding what is potentially a risky situation. The book and coffin points to an ending and a closure. And it is time to close the chapter on something, it seems. And with the heart and snake, there is here clearly a disappointment, because the heart is the card of emotions and feelings. And with the snake, which is quite toxic, it points to deceptive, something deceptive or someone deceptive, and you could be moving away from them. It's also possible, Cancer, that you are losing interest in something, or it didn't turn out to be what you thought it was. So maybe you feel a bit cheated, and so you're turning down this opportunity or moving away from it. Now, the book, fish, and snake can be about your finances, or it can be about a financial situation, or about business matters. Now, with the snake, it is definitely a good idea, Cancer, that you don't share this with others. You could also be working on a business offer, but again, don't share it with others. Another way to look at this line is that an offer proves to be deceptive and it's not a good one for you. There can be some hidden elements. It could be a lot of fine print. It could be a trap overall. So be careful with this. And I would also suggest, Cancer, that you avoid lending, borrowing, and doing things with your money. Now, the heart with the road and coffin is very much the end of the road. And this could be in terms of a relationship, because we have the heart, but it can also be in terms of another area, or whatever it is, where you were probably invested in. And at this point, you're a bit disappointed, or you're ready to let go. Now, the book and heart normally suggests that there are some loving feelings that are not revealed. But in this context, Cancer, I feel it's more about you closing off and keeping yourself to yourself and keeping your feelings to yourself. The fish and road can point to changes in your money, your finances, your work, or your business. And the snake and coffin is definitely about moving on and letting go. So it's very clear, Cancer, that you're moving away from something. It didn't work out, or it doesn't sit well, or it was disappointing on some level, and it's now time to move on. Now, the cards are kind of calm, so there's no need to make a fuss about this or to be confrontational with anyone or anything. The idea is really closing it off and moving on. We have the book with the road and snake, which is very much about this. You're letting go. And the heart with the fish and coffin can mean an ending as well, because of the coffin at the end of the line. The thing about the heart and fish is that you were invested, and probably also emotionally invested, in a situation that you have to close off at this point. Now, the cards don't tell us in what context this is. In a personal relationship, it's pretty obvious how these are cards, how to read these cards. They suggest that a relationship proved disappointing and you're going separate ways. In terms of a work situation, maybe you have an offer that enables you to make a change. This is possible because of the book and fish, but I would still be careful about what this offer is, Cancer. And similar ideas apply in other contexts as well. Things are not working out, or you're sort of disappointed on some level, and you're ready to close the chapter on this and move on. So do this week, and this could be a bigger transition for you, Cancer. But it's definitely time to close things off and move on. So let me know what you made of this, Cancer. I'd be really interested to know how these cards played out for you, what proved to be a bit disappointing, if it applies at this point, and if you're moving on. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your 3x2. This is certainly a really interesting set of cards because we have a challenging few cards here on the left, but then on the right, we have the ring and fish, which is actually really positive for a business partnership or a job or some kind of involvement that has income with it, or just plain income. So we have a few challenging cards here. We have the bird, the clouds, and the whip is quite challenging. It is usually the most challenging card of the deck. So let's see how all this comes together. So the bird and fish can point to financial transactions or business negotiations or other sorts of negotiations, usually in relation to work, money, and business. In the other set of corner cards, we have the clouds and ring. And this can point to issues or problems in a relationship or in commitments. So this could be under consideration, and this is what you could be focusing on this week. It's definitely a good idea that you look at these things and look at your commitments and discuss whatever you can in order to bring things out into the open. Certainly with the bird, whip, and ring at the top, there can be some challenges here. The bird and whip can be gossip, or it can be a tough conversation. And the whip and ring is normally a separation or a problem in a relationship or in your commitments. Now, I think things are going to be shaken out. This bird and clouds, along with these cards, which we'll get to in the columns, they seem to bring out this need to bring things out into the open. So it can't just stay stuck here, like in your mind with the clouds. It has to be brought out into the open. The clouds with the book and fish, this could be a business deal, or a business proposal, or a work proposal, or a similar offer that is related to this area of your life, usually with the fish. Now, the clouds suggest that you're thinking about this and that you are, you need to look into the details, certainly with the book. And as we're going to see in just a bit, you need to ask the questions and negotiate. And I think also you need to be a bit more aggressive than this, Leo, and maybe just turn down what doesn't work for you. Like, put your foot down. The bird and clouds can, again, be a bit of a difficult conversation. I think you're not entirely on the same page with the other party. So again, things need to be clarified. And this is where it comes with the whip and book. This is quite a handful because the whip really cracks the book open, and you have to ask the questions. You have to bring out what isn't clear and discuss it and talk about it. And also you have to challenge it because the whip is that card. Now, the ring and fish, I have to say, is quite positive. Normally, without these cards, it would be quite positive. And because it's on the right-hand side, which is associated with outcomes, you might end up in this business deal. You might end up doing this. So this could be a really good opportunity, but there is groundwork here. You definitely need to bring out what isn't working. You need to challenge the aspects of this that aren't clear. Now, the bird with the book and ring is definitely here negotiating a deal and an offer. And the clouds, whip, and fish can mean that the money aspect or the financial element here is not great and that this needs to be rectified. It's also possible that you need to spend money on this, or that your involvements here require some investment, and maybe it's a bit too much, or you're not ready for it just yet, or it needs to be dealt with and hopefully negotiated. So some really interesting cards here with quite a lot of potential, but not without a bit of wrestling here, Leo. So you have to do your part to negotiate this and to call out what isn't working in order to make it closer to a reality. So I look forward to what you make of this, really. I wonder how you resonated with these ideas. Leave me a comment or two. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your 3x2. This is another really interesting spread with a bunch of different cards. We have some really bright ones, though, the flowers and star. These are very bright cards, but we have tricky ones like the cross and snake, and it's a really interesting combination of things here. It's going to end up advantaging you. On top of this, Virgo, we have the man, which brings up a relationship. So let's see what's going on here. The moon and star, this is great for offer. It's also great for appreciation. This is a really nice combination for getting positive feedback and for being appreciated. Now, when I see the man and snake in this context, I really think, Virgo, that there is someone who's envious of you. When you have this almost popularity kind of cards, being appreciated and recognized, and then the snake, which is a card of envy and deception with a person, I really think there can be someone here who is envious. So just be aware of people around you who might not be wanting to celebrate your successes with you. It's probably because of envy. And also, the snake is always great with silence. So it sounds like this is someone who is either secretive, or you're the one who needs to be discreet with them. So don't share, so much what you're up to. Now, the moon with the cross and snake. Now, this is interesting. This could be an offer or an invitation, but I think you need to assess this really carefully, especially if it's coming from this person. We have the snake here, which is a card of turning away. It is the card of being envious and deception, and it is also a card of cheating, by the way. But it is also about moving away, turning away. And we see it on the right-hand side. So it's like you move away from this offer because it's clear that it is not aligned and that there could be some big question marks here. So be careful and assess things really carefully, Virgo. Now, the man with the flowers and star is actually really bright. Very bright combination. This can point to a wonderful relationship. Maybe there's another relationship that is supportive, as opposed to the one that is coming from that jealous person. But I have to caution you, Virgo, that it's possible that because of these top cards and these corners, it's possible that someone appears to be nice, but they're not, appears to be well-intended, but they're not. And so this could be another cautionary note. But like I said, there can be different people in your circumstance right now, and you need to be careful about who you trust and who you don't. So that too is possible. Now, the man and moon is an offer, an invitation coming from this person. It's also a good combination for a good vibe, but I have to keep warning you because of that snake. The cross and flowers is also really bright. It brings a sense of productivity and fruitfulness. And also, it is a calling for you to express your creativity. That too is possible. However, because of this diagonal where we have the snake and flowers together, I have to also tell you that first, the snake and flowers can be someone who is false to your face. And because of the snake's influence on these cards, the cross can turn to the more negative aspect, which it is often a challenging card. And so with the flowers, it can be another red flag, or a warning sign. Like, be careful of people who seem nice or who seem too nice. The snake and star, This is actually a bright combination because it tells us that you're going to be able to see through these challenges, and you're going to be able to I think you're on top of it, Virgo. I think you see through these people. You're able to discern who's supportive versus who's fake, and you'll be able to, to manage them. And also, I do think you're on top here, because of these, the star and the flowers and all of these bright cards. You seem to have something going really well for you that attracts a bit of envy. But I think maybe on some level, you're enjoying that, Virgo, and also you're able to protect yourself. So again, you really need to be discerning between the supportive and the not supportive. And you might turn down certain offers or invitations. And really the key is to see through all of this. But all throughout, enjoy your success, Virgo, and keep going forward with your projects and your activities, and enjoy your success and popularity. Now, the moon with the flowers and snake, like I was saying, this can be someone who is false to your face, but the man, cross, and star can be more supportive. This can suggest someone who brings something important to you and who can open up this opportunity or really show that appreciation from that for your success. So again, there can be a few different people, or it could be just one person who seems to be nice, but you need to be careful with. And another angle at this, Virgo, is really a bit of a more neutral reading, that this person, might be nice and everything, but it still pays to maintain a proper distance and to maintain some level of carefulness, shall we say, and certainly tact and diplomacy with the snake. So a lovely set of cards, despite some tricky people. Enjoy your successes, Virgo. Go for it and express your creativity. And just be aware of certain types in your environment, and be careful about who you trust and who you don't. So again, a very interesting set of cards. I certainly look forward to your feedback about this, Virgo, what you made of them, how they played out for you, if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your 3x2. It's a little bit challenging and it points to an ending. We see it mainly through the coffin, but also we've got the whip, which is a challenging card. So the sun in coffin can mean a successful completion, actually. So endings are not always tough or difficult. They're not always against our will. They could be a natural result of a phase wrapping up or an achievement. And with the sun, it often is the case. So that is one possibility. Now, the other pair of corner cards is challenging because we have the whip and letter, and this points to bad news, typically. Now, I'm wondering, Libra, if perhaps you have achieved something, you've completed something, and now you're ready to move on. So it's possible that you're the one who announces an ending or this news that you're wrapping things up. The sun with the tree and letter is really bright. This points to some very good news and things blooming, and also wishes fulfilled. And you could also be pursuing other objectives. So I have to wonder if, you could be reaching out, applying, expressing your interest into the next steps or the next phase of what you're doing. The bottom row with the whip, rider, and coffin definitely points to an ending. And what's interesting about the whip and rider is that it is a faster kind of combination, and it usually suggests that we hurry up. And with the coffin at the end of the line, it could be a message to just move on and wrap this up and move on and end it. Now, the sun and whip can mean that things have gone a bit sour, or that things were working out, but now you want something different because they're not the same anymore. That could be the case. And the tree and rider is about growth and pursuing growth. And then the letter and coffin, again, points to this announcement of an ending. So again, my feeling, Libra, is that perhaps you're the one who wants to move on, and you might have, you've reached the peak of what you're pursuing in this situation, and you don't think it's going to go further. You think the way it's looking right now is not great, and perhaps it's the right time to make a change. I'm thinking this is possible. Now, my feeling is that this is in relation to your work because I'm not really seeing people cards. Yes, the writer and letter can be communication cards, but we're not really seeing this one-on-one relationship. So I feel that the changes and your need to move on and move forward at this point is related possibly to work or your other projects in life. Now, the Sun Rider and letter is a lovely message, so you're probably going to get some good feedback once you put yourself out there and you start making decisions around what you're going to do next. And the whip, tree, and coffin is definitely about an ending here. So like I suspected, I feel that where you're at is no longer moving up and growing anymore, and you feel like you just want to draw a line. So these are great cards that encourage change, but they're also quite proactive, Libra. So you need to move forward and express and reach out and make decisions and also draw that line. Again, I feel this is more about your practical life, work, and others, but you let me know in what context they played out for you. A really interesting set of cards, Libra. Let me know what you made of them. I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is a really interesting set of cards. I have to say this week has been curious. A lot of the signs have a really interesting mix of cards. For your part, Scorpio, we have the lovely clover at the end, but we also have it with the coffin, which can mean that it's a good time to end something. And we do have the clouds, which is a little bit challenging. The book is a card of mysteries. It can be things that are not yet revealed or unknown. But I do think, Scorpio, that with the clover and also with the stork, you could have a lucky coincidence where you discover something. It could be a lucky discovery, but it could also be a message to close things off, just like the coffin, or to keep a secret to yourself. Now, the clouds and coffin, the other set of corner cards, you could be thinking about ending something. Maybe you had been hesitating and you weren't really sure how or when to end something. But this layout is clearly telling you that it's a good time and a good idea to wrap things up. Now, the book with the stork and coffin is another suggestion of an ending because we have the coffin at the end of the line and it also comes with the stork. So this is like the event of things ending. And with the book here, it can go in a couple of different ways. The book with the coffin can also mean closing. With the stork, you could announce that you are leaving or ending something. The clouds with the road and clover, you could be here wondering in which direction to go next. And you could also be thinking about the same thing of wrapping things up. This could be on your mind. And the clover here suggests that your intuition is right and that you know you need to move on or you know what you need to do next. And so it encourages you to do that. There is an element of risk, a little bit, that comes with the clover. So maybe you need to make a leap of sorts. Now, the book in clouds here, again, suggesting that you had been keeping things to yourself and bottling things up, Scorpio. And the stork and road definitely encourages you to make a move, to make a change. Both of them are movement cards and have to do with moving forward, making changes, making choices, and moving ahead. And here's your coffin and clover suggesting that it's time to end things and it's the right thing to do. So you could be sitting on a decision to wrap something up and move on, Scorpio, and the cards are telling you that it's the right time to do this. The book with the road and coffin, again, this is the end of the road, closing a chapter. And the clouds with the stork and clover definitely encourages you to stop hesitating, to trust what you know is right, and to make this change and to move on. So very clear cards and also really like sort of pushing you a little bit forward, Scorpio, to make that move. The cards are flexible in terms of context. So we're not seeing if this is work related in relation to a friendship, a relationship, or something else in your life, money, home, family. We're not really seeing any of these theme cards. So it can apply in general in your life or it can apply to a specific area of your life. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Scorpio. I hope you will take the leap at this point and do what you need to do. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with it. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your 3x2, and I'm seeing these recurring cards throughout the week for many of us. So there must be something in the skies. We are seeing an ending here with the coffin, especially on the right-hand side. And the rest of the cards are more or less neutral, except for the clover, which is quite lucky. Now, the anchor and coffin is definitely a message to put something to an end. It's also a combination for boundaries and creating some kind of distance between you and someone else. And we see this someone else here. We have the man and book. So it can mean that this person is the one who's distant or who is closed off. And it could be that you are the one who is. I do think with the book and coffin on the right-hand side, this could be an ending, closing a chapter. The anchor with the clover and book here at the top suggests a few possibilities. First, you definitely want to remain in that boundary as Sagittarius and remain distant and closed off. In another sense, you could find out some really interesting information. It's also a good combination for education, for knowledge, and for having confidence in your information. So this is definitely the encouragement to do your due diligence, to keep some things to yourself, but also to know what you're talking about, essentially to know your, to have confidence in your knowledge. And I feel because of the book is on the right-hand side and it's with the coffin, I think this element of a secret, of, guarding yourself or guarding what you know is important. And it does pour into this idea of this distance that you have with this person. Now, the man with the cross and coffin suggests that this person is, again, distant and far away, and it might not really go anywhere, Sagittarius. It doesn't look like this relationship has a lot of prospects or a lot of potential. The cross can also point to a decision that you make about this person and about letting them go. The anchor and man would be the opposite, but it's on the left-hand side. So it can mean that you have been with this person, or that you've been patient, or that you've, you had a connection, and that also you've given it time. The clover and cross points to something really lucky and meant to be, and the book and coffin suggests an ending. So it seems to me that it's a good idea to let go of this person. But at the same time, Sagittarius, I want to be cautious about how I phrase that, because I'm not seeing cards that call for like an action on your part or being proactive about this. So it's possible that you just let it go. And that as it is, there isn't much communication or much closeness between you and this person, and to just leave it this way and not make any more effort, let's say, in the relationship. So definitely a message here to end something, or to allow for something to end and to let it go. The man with the clover and coffin, again, suggesting this ending, or at least this time apart and distance. And the clover suggests that there could be a blessing in this. So just let it go. Don't force anything, but maintain your stance. The anchor with the cross and book. And here is another element of secrecy and mystery. Maybe this person is a mysterious person, but again, it's a good idea to let it be. And also for your side of the situation, Sagittarius, you're better off like guarding yourself and not really, not opening up, not sharing, and keeping this to yourself. So this is a really interesting set of cards. Now, they can apply in different contexts. In terms of a personal relationship, I think an ending is more likely. In terms of other relationships, there can be, again, an ending, but possibly also like some time apart, or just letting things be. You could also be pursuing different objectives at this point. So you could be ending some kind of involvement or commitment, a job or something, and moving on. And maybe at this point, you don't reveal everything about your plans, and you sort of keep it to yourself until the right time. So it's definitely a message to keep things to yourself and to be closed off, as probably the other person is. So don't disturb this peace. Don't disturb the current secrecy of things. Just let things be. And again, it could be time to move on, to wrap things up, and to make a change here. So a very interesting set of cards. It can go in a few different ways, and it can apply in different contexts. Let me know, Sagittarius, what you made of them, how they played out for you. I really look forward to your thoughts on this. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your 3x2, and I have to say I've been seeing a lot of recurring cards, especially the coffin and maybe the whip. Across a few different signs, there seems to be a common theme for many of us that there's an ending, and we see the ending through the coffin. Except in your cards, Capricorn, we see it with the flowers, and the flowers is on the right-hand side, and this can mean a renewal or something coming back into play after a time apart. So that is some very good news. Now, the whip and bear is quite a challenging combination. It can suggest a confrontation, and there can be competition, possibly even an enemy. So you could be up against someone or something. I do think that you're going to do rather well, though, because we have the bear and flowers on the right-hand side. The coffin with the book and bear suggests it can play out in a couple of different ways. It can emphasize the ending and the closure of a chapter. And the bear here, Capricorn, in any context, the bear is a card of courage, and it tells you to step up to something and to, have the strength to do something. And in this case, it's about closing the chapter. Now, it can go in the other way around, which is supported by the flowers. It can mean that there is an important revelation after a time of silence or a time apart. So you could have been waiting on something to come through, Capricorn, and it looks like it does come through. And the bear and flowers suggest that it's some pretty good news. Now, the whip with the anchor and flowers is also positive because despite the whip, the anchor helps you stand your ground and be strong, a bit like the bear, and the flowers is again this lovely news and things coming back into play. So it does bring hopefulness and success. And so these are really supportive cards for holding the line, for being patient, for waiting until things come through, because they do come through. Now, the coffin and whip points to an ending, and there could have been some major challenges that you were up against, and this could have put things on hold and even maybe ended things. The book and anchor is very much about sticking with the process and pursuing this. The book is a card of the unknown, and so maybe you have to put up with a lot of question marks and mysteries while you wait for this to come through. And the bear and flowers suggest some very positive messages here. So it does come through. So your patience pays off, and your ability to stand your ground in the face of challenges also pay off. Now, the coffin with the anchor is about an ending, and the anchor and bear is very much about strength. So if there is something that you need to end and that you need to put at bay, Capricorn, you do that. And have confidence in yourself. The whip with the book can point to some challenging news, but on the flip side, we have the flowers here, which brings this element of renewal. So you could have gone through a challenge earlier that is now resolved. You could have been maybe turned down at something, but now you have an opportunity to move ahead. So there are many different ways this can play out for you specifically. But the idea, Capricorn, is that you don't give up on this, and that you put up with the challenges for the time being, because they are going to be resolved and things are going to be turned around. Now, the cards are flexible in the sense that they can apply in different contexts. We're not really seeing work, money, business, home, family, people. We're not seeing any of these theme cards. We're seeing a dynamic. So this dynamic can play out with a specific situation or in your life as a whole. You let me know in what area this played out for you, Capricorn. I'd be really interested to know. Leave me a comment or two if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with this. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your 3x2. And like quite a few of us this week, there are a few challenges. We have your bottom line here that is a bit challenging. All three cards are a bit difficult, but we do have the beautiful sun, which is definitely going to help you overcome these challenges because the sun is one of the brightest cards of the deck. Now, the sun with the mouse can suggest a few issues here and there, but you can definitely resolve them. The mouse is not a big deal. It tends to represent small issues. The warning of the mouse, Aquarius, is that you take care of things while they are small, because if you don't pay attention to them while they are small, they can grow into a bigger deal. So you don't want that. Now, the snake and bear is quite a pair. This can point to competition. It can point to someone envious. And it definitely cautions you against someone who could be playing against you. So just be aware of this. In another sense, Aquarius, these two cards can encourage you to, take your steps and move ahead discreetly. You could be doing something pretty important because the bear is a card of significance and importance, but discretion is called for with the snake. Now, the moon, no, it's not the moon, it's the sun, book, and bear. This is a lovely line, actually. Without these challenging cards, it would point to quite a lot of success, some very good news. You could get some kind of opportunity that puts you on under the light. You could be showing through some achievement or your talent or something like that. The book can also be a card of knowledge or learning and anything related to books, really, and by extension to creativity. So this could be an encouragement for you to put that out there and to work on these outlets that you have. Also good for knowledge and learning, maybe for honing your expertise and standing out as someone who's knowledgeable. So in this context, there can be some envious people around you. The snake is definitely envious, and the clouds and mouse can support that further. The clouds can point to tension and things going on like in people's minds where you feel it, they don't vocalize it. And the mouse points to issues of any kind, really. It does point to also lack of trust and negative energy. So I do think that there are some challenges around you, Aquarius, but you do have a lot of prospects for success. And so what could be going on is that there's a fair bit of envy or people working against you, like we saw with the snake and bear. Now, the sun and snake is actually bright. It suggests that you have a good strategy and that you need to have one if you don't. It could be an indirect path to success, and you could also be called to, to be discreet about your successes or your intentions. Now, the book in clouds is about confusion and not being sure of things. So this is going to call on you to resolve your doubts, to do some research, to dig into the details. And the bear and mouse can mean that there are challenges ahead and that you have to rectify them. So all three columns are going to have the challenges because the bottom row is entirely made up of these challenging cards. So it looks like there are obstacles in the way of your success, Aquarius. It could be in the form of people. It could be in the form of issues. It could be misinformation, gaps, all sorts of difficulties are possible because obviously there's a very wide variety of them. At the same time, Aquarius, I'm not saying that this is a deterrent for you because you need to embrace your opportunity. You need to step up to what the bear is encourage you to grow. And, you have things to pursue. So deal with things, the issues as you move forward, and also be aware that there could be some types around you who are not particularly supportive. Now, the sun with the clouds and bear can help you highlight the issues and bring some elements out into the open. And again, the bear is a card of courage. So don't shy away from this. Even if there are doubts or some question marks, you still have got what it takes to move forward. And the snake, book, and mouse definitely points to gaps and misinformation, even misleading information. Things like lies and gaps and things like that, could be at play. So you need to be careful, Aquarius, about what you're dealing with. You need to make sure everything is transparent. And I wouldn't sign anything or agree to anything without really digging into the details. details, because there can be traps and there can be misleading things here, and you need to be clear about all of it. And that is definitely what the cards are calling on you to do in order for you to move into this opportunity or embrace this, this card of empowerment here with the bear. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Aquarius. It's quite an interesting reading, and I look forward to your comments about it if you're willing to share. A very best of luck with the week. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your 3x2 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your 3x2. And honestly, every reading this week is really interesting, a funny mix of cards with some really interesting dynamics. For your part, Pisces, we're seeing a couple of challenging cards on the left, which is always better than on the right, if you read from left to right. And then we have the ring and tree here, which is great for a commitment. Now, we do have the child, which points to a new beginning. So you could be moving into a new phase or some kind of new commitment or involvement or even relationship. Now, the snake and tree is an interesting combination. It is a combination of wisdom, through the archetypal snake and tree, the Garden of Eden tree. And so when we see them together, it's a good idea to first stay silent and to contemplate, and also to tap into your wisdom and to be patient, and also focus on your growth and your goals. So there's a bit of an inner energy with the snake and tree. Now, the mouse and ring is not so great. It points to a relationship that could be draining you a little bit or exhausting you. Well, maybe not exhausting, maybe that's a bit too much, but, draining you and starting to stress you out. And it could also mean that you're losing interest in it and that it could be sort of tapering off. But the ring and tree, actually, especially on the right-hand side here, suggests that you stick with it. So even if it's a bit tiresome right now, stick with it, because it sounds like you are, after all, on a path of growth. Now, the snake with the bear and ring, this can point to a relationship with someone important. The bear can represent people like managers, bosses, people of influence. And so with the ring, it could be a connection like that. And with the snake, it's definitely advised to be discreet and careful with them. So maybe you're trying to win them over. Maybe you need their support. You could be trying to, charm the birds of the trees. But if this is your manager or maybe someone else who has some kind of authority in your life, the snake definitely calls for discretion. Now, the mouse with the child and tree points to a new beginning through the child and tree. Clearly, these are seeds that are going to bloom. So actually, this combination is really nice. Now, the mouse suggests some challenges. So maybe you have a bit of a hard time getting something off the ground, but you still want to get it off the ground, Pisces. So work on it, be patient, be slow. It's okay. It's going to get there. The snake and mouse really emphasizes the challenges. This is a bit more toxic than just the mouse on its own. So there can be some challenges here. And I'm thinking there could be also some envy and some deception, maybe coming from people who are not particularly supportive. So just be aware that there could be such elements around you, Pisces, and also focus on the issues while they're small and while you can, because one important message of the mouse is that you want to deal with the issues while they are small and not wait for them to grow. So deal with this and also be discreet about things. The bear and child points to an important new beginning. So again, we see these cards after these challenging cards. So the challenges, whatever they may be for you, specifically Pisces, they're not meant to get in the way of you moving into this new beginning. And the ring and tree points to establishing yourself and allowing this new beginning to grow and to bloom. So a very beautiful set of cards that point to patience and commitment. And there could be either it's something new or you're continuing with something and sort of renewing your energy for it. And also, Pisces, it's important that you work through the issues and that you be aware of the kinds of people around you. Be discreet, especially with authority. Respect the chain of command. And keep doing what you're doing because it is on the right track. Even if it feels a bit slow right now, it's on the right track. And if you are moving into something new, it could be quite important. It could be through the help of this person, so focus on this as well. Let's wrap up with the diagonals. We have the snake, child, and ring. This could be in your relationship. And again, the snake asks for caution, so I wouldn't be quick to trust people. It could also be this new involvement. So same idea, moving ahead, but moving ahead carefully. Now, the mouse and bear can point to challenges being a little bit dramatized with the bear. So again, just heed the warning of the mouse. Pisces, always take care of things while they are manageable and small. But the bear and tree is actually great for growth. So you could be going through growing pains and you need to adjust with that. So that too is possible. And both the bear and tree are quite established, and the ring has an element of continuity. So you need to focus on probably the longer term, Pisces, and to strengthen your commitment as you move into this new beginning or you renew your effort. The cards are also flexible in terms of context, Pisces. So we could be looking at a personal relationship, for example, where there could have been a pretty tricky start here, but you could move past it and give this relationship a chance, but give it time. Give it time and don't be quick to invest yourself or to be too trusting from the get-go. And also, they could apply in a work context. You could be looking at some kind of growth or promotion. You certainly want to tap into the support of your managers with this. And the same idea can apply in other contexts. These are really the two main contexts that could come out through these cards. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Pisces. I look forward to your feedback on this. Again, this week has been a bit strange, I have to say, but I'd love your thoughts and your comments. So very best of luck with this, Pisces. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.